This is Congresswoman Gabby Gifford, and she is married to Mark Kelly. He's a twin to Scott Kelly, astronaut. They're both NASA astronauts, twins. And I want you to take note of this. This is a pattern that the mind control murders have been done in, and here they're wanting to take your guns down too. It's what's being used in all this, the mass murders and single murders, is mind control. And the ones I tell about have been done in patterns, and they can be proven. Especially the one yesterday was the first time they said this, and it's very important. Unless you wish that your children are programmed and go to prison or put to death for something they didn't do. And I want to say it right off, mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. Mental illness is being used as a scapegoat here. Okay, this is Gabby, and Congresswoman. I ran for Congress in '83, was flown out to Larry Flint's of Hustler magazine, who had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia in March 6th of '78, while I'm doing a medical malpractice book about mind control. How you can cure an illness or create an illness. It's the Tesla files that were stolen, and make deaths appear of natural cause or suicide, like Robin Williams, etc., etc. I could go on and on. This is the twins is important in the patterns, and the Congresswoman, she became Congresswoman. I didn't. I ran in '83, flown to Flint's. I'd written about a Dr. Congressman Larry McDonald who was part of trying to kill me. His plane went down. The KAL was shot down when it veered into Russian airspace August 31st of '83. Now I'm not feeling that great this morning. What's been done to me. This is my sons, Mark and Scott. These are old pictures. I don't even know where my children are. I don't know if they're alive. I pray and hope every day I see them again. This is Mark. This is after me. And Scott. Now then, you might want to go ask about this one. They did mention it. The Tim McCain. He's senator now, and he's on that committee that's set up by McCain. You know, they're accusing the Russians and the horrible things they've said about WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. I can never forgive anybody for that and what they've done and said to me and my mom and dad. Okay, this is Jens Orens. It was a murder that happened, I believe, in April of '85. And he's a diplomat son. I had met him briefly when I ran for Congress in in '83, and he was a student in school at Lovett. It was a private school there where the doctors I worked for used to send their children. I used to write checks to there. But our paths crossed then. Later, I'm in Grottoes, Virginia, and he's in Charlottesville, going to state of Virginia college, and so is Elizabeth Haysom, when her parents were murdered by a butcher knife. Now then, everybody here in Bedford, I live next door, believe me, I've suffered in hell for telling the truth, and because of who I am, a lot of people want me dead. Okay, Jens is in Buckingham State Prison. I don't know where Elizabeth is. These are innocent people. And Tim Kaine was supposed to allow him to go home to Germany. Let me remind you, these are war crimes. Mind control is a weapon, for goodness sake. And nobody wants to accept it. So anyway, I'm going to leave that. He's in Buckingham State Prison. They asked Tim McCain, when he was vice president for Mrs. Clinton, about why he was going to let him go home. He made the comment, they changed it. He was going to let him go home, Tim McCain was, 4 days before He was not governor anymore, but he later became senator. And he said, well, I thought in this, this is a scumbag person or something rather than a victim of this country. Well, I thought I might let him go back to Germany and let them pay for his upkeep. How about me, McCain? You just throw me in and do anything you want to me, and you took all my money is the reason I have none. I'm a hostage here in Virginia, and you all know it. Now then, this is a mind control shooting, and this is retired State Trooper David and Laura Childs. It's a takeoff on Childs on Childers. This was done in the National Forest outside Virginia Tech and Blacksburg. By the way, the Virginia Tech shootings was a mind control shooting. That mass murder there. And Laura Childs is the name of my husband, who's so much a part of this. Out in his sister's name's Laura Childs. She's out in she's in Lockhart, Texas, and she's never been made pay for her part in all this mess. But anyway, this state trooper, they were taken out to Caldwell Field, and David and his daughter Heidi were shot and killed with rifles. And this was done in patterns, and I can't get into all of them here. But now I'm going to go over here and show this. So they've used Mark and Scott in the mind control murders, and anyway, I'm just going to start back here the best I can do, and I want to get this up now while I'm got time on here. The young man started in Anchorage, Alaska. I didn't know till yesterday. That was the birthday they gave me when they kidnapped me in 41 and brought me to Moulton, Alabama, and gave me the name of these twins, Peggy and Carl. I'll show you in a minute. But Anchorage, Alaska, where the supposed shooter, it was a mind control shooting, he went in. They only told this yesterday after I had put up several videos yesterday morning and prior. They told that the young man walked into Anchorage, Alaska FBI headquarters, field office, let me say that, and told them that he had someone controlling his mind, and he was hearing voices telling him what to do. So he was programmed to go there. The point is, they put it right to you where he went and everything, and told him, they hauled him off and for mental evaluation, which mental illness has nothing to do with mind control. Mental illness is being used as a scapegoat. So if this is all told, it will be because of the agency doing it, or the British will tell it. Anchorage, Alaska is one that you can't deny. Anchorage, Alaska was a high-profile murder here, and I told the media, I told everybody. And in other words, they go after me when I tell it. They want me shut up. The only thing I'm going to say is if this one with the murder that happened here is Jesse Matthews, and one of the victims was English student at Charlottesville, Virginia Tech. I'm sorry, University of Virginia. Hannah Graham. Jesse Matthews is a black man who's in prison. He pleaded guilty because, quite frankly, they don't mention mind control or anything about this. They won't allow it to go into court as evidence, okay? So part of it's because of who I am, and I'm getting to that now. So the Anchorage, Alaska, you can't deny this one. They've deliberately done it, all right? And the route that he took to Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, yeah, I hope I get up to and tell it, because it's like instant messaging, and you can't deny it. Now I'm going to show the twins where they brought me in 41. I was born in 39. Marked through the birth certificates, which is illegal, because the twins, they gave me the name of Peggy, born to this woman and this family, and this is me when they brought me over here. that was in about 43. Gave me the name of Peggy, and when I had to get I have to use her name, they marked through it because these twins were born about a year before me. And well, you can see where the mark through it. That's illegal. All it's been illegal. Larry Flint endorsed me in August of 84. And I had been out his home when one of the doctors, Congressman Larry McDonald's plane went down, the passenger plane KAL, en route from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea went down. Now, he was a part, I wrote about him when I wrote about the MindControl murders, and Mr. Flint was shot during that time. In Lawrenceville, I lived at Moonraker Apartments in Marietta, and he was shot in Lawrenceville. I was taken to Lawrence County. By the way, the Virginia Tech shootings, that's in Montgomery County. Montgomery, Alabama's where it's the capital of Alabama, where the birth certificates come from. I worked for the district attorney in 80, Fred Simpson. It was like a clue to my identity. My father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. A double, an imposter did. And my dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, my mom, and I don't have her picture, but Georgia O'Keefe, the artist from Madison, Wisconsin, House Speaker Ryan. My mother supposedly wasn't good enough to become queen. She was a school teacher. My dad and mom were actually married in 35 or 36, and then in 36 they made him abdicate because he's married to my mom, not Wallace Simpson. This is my dad. This is the double that married the spy, American spy Wallace. And it was a plot to take down my father, and they did. Now, I want to say this. They were married in 37. I was born, this is the double that was used became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. He died in 72 and was buried at Frogmore, Windsor Castle. Dig him up. His DNA will not match. Maybe you'll find out who he really is. My dad and mom were both still alive, per the British Embassy, when I came to Roanoke and stepped off the bus October the 20th of 86. Okay? This is sweet little Lizzie Borden, Elizabeth. Illegal treaties, illegal monarch. Her father helped kidnap me. Here he is, 1930. I don't know if you can see it, 1939, with FDR, who appointed, they're planning my kidnapping then, he appointed Joseph Kennedy ambassador to England. That's JFK's dad, and 36 till they kicked him out in 46. They helped plot to take down my father with the Rothschilds, Rockefellers that controlled your press. Now then, the Warren Commission covered it up because JFK flew into the embassy there 39, the year I was born, and until about 1943. So they were in on my kidnapping of a monarch the day I was born because my father's, it was an addendum, an attachment that said if he had an heir, it would not disinherit the heir would be monarch. So the day I was born, Victoria II, it would brought my father back as power of attorney and guardian. So what are they going to do? On one hand, they've got my dad, an imposter, pretending to be my father, marrying Wallace Simpson, while my father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, and then I'm born. So they kidnapped me. Aren't they sweet? So I think I've covered it as much as I can. And this is in 2001, letter to the district attorney Osborne in Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County, where the twins were born. So wouldn't it be nice if we got an attorney general up there that would prosecute all this and tell the truth? You reckon? I hope so, Sessions. I hope he gets it. Okay, this is me again, brought over here, and the birth certificates marked through. This is Carl. Both of them were killed by their mom. And I guess that's it. The point I was going to make and have made with this is the fact that the Anchorage, Alaska, yesterday should be the end of it, of the killings, and should come to an end and be told, I hope. And I want to quote one of the FBI agents in Marietta, Georgia. In 82, he said to me, and he pretended to yawn, he says, you know what people do with this when you tell them? You bore them. It's not until they find out how it affects them that they care. Now, this young man started out in Anchorage, Alaska, and the Anchorage is so important in all of this. And the route he took and everything is like crypt. You decode it. So he was programmed, he doesn't know what happened to him. By the way, I want to put in here that Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber that was put to death, said, and I have a copy of that I put up, that they put a chip in him when he was in the military. I didn't know that till later. I had him and Terry Nichols, as in the programming pattern before I ever saw that. How would you like for your child to be programmed and be accused of committing murders, which they didn't know that they were going to? They didn't plan it. It was planned for them. They had no willpower left. It was taken away from them. But, hey, everybody wants to put away the ones that tell the truth. And that's Snowden. I tried to tell you about NSA. By the way, I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney when I did the book, Living at Laurelwood Apartments. By the way, Governor Wallace was shot. And by the way, this woman right here, I'll show Lana Dempsey, I won't show it, her picture again in that family photo. The twins' mother that brutalized me, and I had to call her mom. She was with George Wallace in Laurel, Maryland, when he was shot. He did not like her. She imposed herself and worked in the campaign, so there was no connection to him liking her. I liked George Wallace. He didn't sell his soul. Okay, but this one is to tell you about the Anchorage, Alaska, and the connection to the murder of Hannah Graham. And Jesse Matthews is in prison, but it's the other young lady that was killed that the Anchorage connects to, and you can't disprove that one. If I ever get to go before court and I'm not locked up, they use the mental health to shut you up. Plain and simple.